Hi everyone, this is Andrew. Today I'll be doing my first JavaScript tutorial. I recommend taking a look at w3schools.com. It has lots of information about all things web related, so HTML, CSS, JavaScript and so on. Today's tutorial will be making a countdown timer where the user can input an event name and the event date, and then the timer will pop up and count down towards that date, showing the days, hours, minutes and seconds. Okay, first things first, we have to make a HTML file. So go and do that. So a HTML file is just a text document. Okay, so we'll call it countdown. And we have to change the extension to be HTML. Yes. Okay, edit that. So open it, well, I'm going to edit it with Notepad++. You can use any text editor you like. Make sure the language is set to HTML. Okay, the first thing we need to do is set the document type. So that's just doc type HTML. Okay. And we need a HTML tag. Remember, all tags have to be closed, so that's what it would look like. So to close it, just use a / followed by the tag name. Within HTML, we'll need a head element and a body. There we go. Okay, let's run that, see what it looks like. It should just open up in your default browser. Looks fine. Within your browser, you should be able to open up, this is Firefox I'm using, so I'm going to open up a browser console. So under Tools, Web Developer, Browser Console, and it will show me my debug log. Okay, I'll just clear that and run this again. It says the character encoding of the HTML document was not declared. Okay, so that's easily fixed by within the head section, set a meta tag with char set equal to, we'll use Unicode, which is UTF-8. Oops. And hopefully that'll fix that. I'll just clear the console. Yep, it seems to be fine. Can you see at the tab, up the top, sorry, of the tab here, it's got file ://c : blah blah blah. Not very pretty, is it? So let's set a title. That can be done in the head as well. We'll call it countdown timer. Close the, there we go. Let's run that. Yeah, there it is. Countdown timer. Great. Right, so we want to receive an input. Now, ideally in an HTML file you would get input from a form, but because this is a JavaScript tutorial, let's use JavaScript to get the input. So everything has to be contained within the script tag. Oops, I spelled script wrong. Okay, this script tag can go in either the head section or the body section, or both. But I'll put mine in the head. Right, we need to get an input. So what do we need? So let's declare some variables. So in JavaScript, just use var. It's not strongly typed, so you don't put int or string or long. Just use var. We need an event name and an event date. Great. To get the input, we can use something called prompt. So let's get the name. Event name will equal prompt. So that'll just show a pop-up to the user where they can input something. It takes a couple of arguments, one being the question or the statement, event name, and the other being the default value. So we'll say my event. Okay. put that in a function. So a function, a function declaration, just you need to use the word function followed by the function name. So we'll call this get input. Get input followed by parentheses and the braces to surround the contents. Oops. Okay. Get input, so event name. Now to run this function, we could just call it somewhere. When do we want to call it? Well, ideally we should call it when the page is loaded. So in the body element, let's do onLoad, and then type in the name of the function, get input. We have to call it as if we're calling it in code. So that's what it will look like. Oops. So get input. Okay, let's run that. There we go. Event name, my event. You can type in anything you want. Of course, it doesn't do anything yet. That's fine. We can add functionality soon. Now, how do we display that entered name to the page? Well, we should make an element. We'll make a div. We'll make a div inside the body, and we'll give it an ID. We'll call it my box will do. It's a div. Close it. Just in case we want to add something extra here. So we can identify that by its ID. Right. So when this page loads, it'll call get input, get the name, and then we want it to display something. So let's make another function called display timer or something like that. That'll do. We'll call it countdown, display countdown. Right. So what do we need? Well, we need to get that div. So we'll make a variable called my box. And to get it, we can just go document, get element by ID. And then it takes the parameter of the ID, which is down there, my box. Right, so we've got that div. Now how can we add to it? Well, you just go mybox.inner HTML equals, and then you can put some HTML in there. Let's put it in a header. So we'll say H3, and we'll say countdown to, and then we'll put the event name, countdown to event name. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, first we have to call this, don't we? Display countdown. So after they've inputted everything, we can say display countdown. There we go. Let's try running that. My event. There's an error here. Reference error. Document is not defined. Document. Document, I should have written. Let's try again. My event. Countdown to my event. Great. Now what else do we need for a countdown time? We need the date, don't we? So we've declared it up here, but we haven't entered it. The thing with entering dates is that there's lots of different formats for dates. You know, there's like day, month, year, or year, month, day, or month, day, year, and then there's hyphens and slashes, and it's too complicated. So let's make it easy for the user. We'll enter each section of the date one by one. So first we'll have an event year, an event month, and an event year, month, and an event day. Okay. We won't use time in this situation. But you could. It just takes more work, more effort, that's all. Right. So we've got the name. let's get the event year. So again, it'll be a prompt. Event year. Now let's give the user some. Oh, maybe for year it doesn't matter. I think they could understand what they need to put in. Event year. You could do an EG, for example. EG. No, you don't, because the second parameter here will give them the default value. So we'll say it's 2018, we'll say it's next year. So they can see that they have to type in 2018 or 2017 or whatever. That's fine. I'm just pushing Control D here to duplicate the line. So we'll have event month, and we'll tell them that it must be from 1 to 12. Otherwise, if you didn't put that, people might start putting JAN or MAR or MARCH. Who knows what people put. So make it clear, 1 to 12, and we'll say the default is 1. Event day. Again, what does day mean? It could mean Monday, or it could mean the 1st or the 3rd. So let's make it clear. 1 to 31. Yes, that doesn't take into account longer or shorter days, but you could validate that later. And the default day will be 1, so it'll be the 1st of the 1st, 2018. Good. Now so that's the event year, month, and day. Now we need to create this event date. Now it'll be a date object, so event date will equal new date. Now in the constructor here, you can put it in ISO format, which is year, month, day, all separated by hyphens. So we'll do that. Event name plus a hyphen plus event month plus a hyphen plus the event day. And that should be okay. Event name. Now, after the event name, let's put some parentheses. Put the event date. And then close parentheses. Parenthesis. Okay. Let's see what that looks like. We'll just go with the defaults, 2018-11. Countdown to my event, invalid date. Something went wrong here. Of course the event name for part of the date would be ridiculous, wouldn't it? So event year plus a hyphen, event month plus a hyphen, event day. Yeah, so year, month, day. Countdown to my event, Monday, January the 1st, 2018, 10 o'clock, GMT plus 10 Eastern Australian Standard Time. Obviously too much information. So with the event date here, we can convert it to a more readable format to locale. So that'll use the user's locale of their machine. Date string. To locale date string. I think that's what it is. Let's try it. That looks better. Countdown to my event, 1/1/2018. So that will format to how the user has their date set. So if you're in America or Germany or whatever, it'll modify that. Great. We've got the date there. Next, we should probably do some validation while we're here. So do we need to validate the event name? Not really. We should allow anything to be entered. The year, we should probably validate the year. So let's make a flag. Let's call it valid. And we'll say it starts at false. So everything is invalid to begin with until we make it valid. Let's use while loops. So while not valid. So while it's not valid, run this input. this prompt. Okay. Now when will it be valid? Well, let's set up some conditions. So it'll be valid when event year is greater than, say, 0. So, 3000 BC is not a valid event date. And the event year is less than, say, 10,000. That's probably enough. Okay. So when it becomes valid, this while loop will no longer... Now we'll have to reset valid to be false so that we can use this same technique. So this is for the year. This will be for the month. I'll just copy and paste some of this. Month. This will be for the day. And we'll need to do some checking on each one. Just get my indentation. Oh yes, we'll need to reset valid after each time because we're using the same flag. Okay, so the year is okay. How about month? Well, we've defined what month must be. It must be greater or equal to 1, greater or equal to 1, and the month must be less than or equal to 12. The day has to be greater or equal to 1, and the day must be less than or equal to 31. Okay, that should be okay. Let's try that. My event, let's try, if I use -1000, what does that do? It just prompts to do event year again, doesn't it? If we do ABC, yeah, we need to put in a valid year. 10,000 shouldn't work, should it? Because it must be less than 10,000. Yep, let's try 2017. Yep, that's fine. ABC, that doesn't work. 13 shouldn't work. 12 should work. Yep, and 1 to 31 so 32 shouldn't work. 31 should work. Good. 31st of the 12th, 2017. Great, so the validation seems to be working okay. Of course, this isn't perfect. I'm sure people who really wanted to break it could, but just for beginning, the beginning stage, this will do. Now, what else? Well, we should make sure the event date is in the future. Okay. To do that, we'll probably need validation. We'll need a while loop around the entire thing. So while not valid, do the entire thing. So this entire validation. We won't call display countdown until everything's validated. Okay, we'll just indent all that to make it clearer. That looks good. Okay, so how do we determine whether the date is in the future? Well, we know the event date, it's here. What about the current date? Let's make a variable called current. Variable current date equals new date. Turns out the default constructor is the current date, so that will return the current date. Okay, now what does valid equal? Well, valid it has to be in the future. So the event date has to be bigger than the current date. So the event date, now to get the event date as a number, you can get time, which actually returns the number of milliseconds since 1970, which is it's kind of a convention in computing. Everyone uses that sort of thing, the 1970 date, as the sort of the origin of time. So event date get time minus the current date, get time, event date minus current date dot get time should be greater than 0. If it's greater than 0, it means that the event date is in the future. If it's not, it'll be invalid and it will run all that again. Let's test it. My event, so the default should work. Let's try it. 2018 first. Yep, that's fine. Let's run it again. My event. Let's try 2016. So this should be in the past. Yeah, it's just gone straight back to, see that again? Yeah, it's gone back to the start event year. So not very user friendly. So let's do something about that. We can show an alert. So show error alert. So if it's not valid, only if it's not valid do we want to show this. If not valid, let's show an alert. So an alert's just a string, a message that's shown to the user, and they click OK to continue. So alert. The date must be in the future. That'll do. The event date must be in the future. Let's try that. Okay, so let's try a past date, so 2016. The event date must be in the future. And then it goes back to the event year. So 2017, say, let's try this month, let's try yesterday, 26th. The event date must be in the future. Let's try tomorrow, 2017, 7th, 28th is tomorrow. Yep, that's fine. 28th of the 7th, 2017. Great. So our validation's working. Show countdown. That'll do. Next, we need to do some calculation, don't we? We need to calculate how many hours, days, minutes, and seconds there are to the event date. So, variable seconds. Let me think. Maybe we should, let's get the current date first, because we have to compare it here, don't we? Current date will equal new date. Now the time difference, remember we can use get time, so it'll be the event date get time minus current date get time, and that'll be in milliseconds because get time is in milliseconds. Right, so how many seconds, if we know that time difference is in seconds, sorry, in milliseconds, then the number of seconds will be time difference divided by 1000. The number of minutes will equal the seconds divided by 60, right? And the hours will equal the number of minutes divided by 60. And the days will equal the number of hours divided by 24. So for example, if we had 48 hours, 48 divided by 24 is 2 days. Good. Now these are the total number of seconds in the time that we have to wait. The total number of minutes, the total number of hours, the total number of days. So we need to calculate the time remaining. So let's call these, so the variable days left. So the days left, well, just say we had 14.6 days remaining. Well, that means the number of days remaining are 14, doesn't it? It's kind of rounded down. So we can use the math floor function. So that'll be days, the floor of days. So it'll be days rounded down, because we don't want to show 14.6 days, we just want to show 14, the days left. So let's put that into our string here. Okay. Here we'll put the timer in a bigger heading, so we'll say H2. All right. Let's put the days left. Plus we'll put a label there. And we'll do that for each of the things that we're going to do. So we'll have days left, we'll have minutes, hours, and days. Sorry, hours, minutes, and seconds. So hours, let me just create these variables first. So we'll have days left, we'll have hours left, we'll have minutes left, and we'll have seconds left. Now, the hours left will be the remainder of the hours, won't they? So to find remainder, we can just use the modulus function. So we go hours modulus, how many hours in a day? 24. So whatever's remaining is the hours left over. That's not the modular symbol. Percentage is the symbol that you should be using. So that's effectively hours divided by 24 and find the remainder of that. So if that was 49 divided by 24, well, that's 2 plus 1 hour remaining, so it'll be 1. And we want to find the floor because this could be a fraction. Okay, the minutes left will be the minutes divided by modulo 60, and this will be the seconds modulo 60. That should be right. So the days plus the hours left plus, here's the label, plus the minutes left plus a label plus the seconds left and a label. Let's see what that looks like. Often there's mistakes here, but we'll see. Countdown to my event. So there's 157 days, 19 hours, 44 minutes, and 0 seconds. Just some spacing issues there. Days, hours, minutes. That should be okay. So you see there's 157, 19, 44, 0. If we do it again, the exact same date, 157, 19, 43, 36. So you can see it's counting down if I keep resetting it. 30, 28, 26. We want it to count down automatically, don't we? But the layout's fine. I mean, just for basic layout, that's fine. So to get it to tick effectively every second, we need to call this method every second. To do that, there's a function called setInterval. So we'll still call that setInterval. Now this takes the function name as a parameter and the interval in milliseconds. So we want 1 second. So that means every second, so this will fire. Every second this will fire. Now if you don't have this one here, you won't see it until after the first second. Let's try it. There it is, right? You can see it's counting down now, which is good. So we need to show this display countdown first. We need to run the function first, and then we set the interval, which will tick every second. Let's try it. Let's try a real thing. Jack's B-Day. We'll say it's this year, 2017. We'll say it's next month. So August 1st, yep. Yeah, 4 days away, 19 hours, 41 minutes and 52, 51, 50 seconds. And there we go. If you have any questions, leave them for me, and I'm sure I'll be able to answer them. Cheers.